Kristy, I approached you in a food court. I was very nervous. I think I bored you for like an hour and a half as we walked around the mall telling you about the current D&D campaign that I was running and all the intricacies of that. But we went over to a board game and collectibles store, and I showed her a bunch of dice and a bunch of different board games and D&D stuff. And then we shared our first kiss, and that was our first date. And I think even then I knew how special and amazing Kristy was. If only because she would let me drone on and on about nonsense.
I remember when I first saw you, and you were sitting in the chair and you were wearing a blue polo shirt and jeans. And I remember thinking you were the most handsome man I'd ever seen. And I remember thinking, oh crap, there's no way this is gonna work out. He's too good for me. And I remember the first time you slipped your hand into my hand and threaded our fingers together. And I remember that really, really boring story you told me about Dungeons and Dragons. And that's how I knew that I liked you so much right from the beginning, because I was willing to listen to you drone on and on about D&D for 30 minutes. And then I agreed to go with you to a game store. And I remember outside of that game store you kissed me in the rain. And I remember thinking that that was the beginning of the rest of my life.
How fortunate we all are to be here today, to witness the joining of those two halves into a whole. With each step they took and each choice they made, they unknowingly were moving towards each other. Every day since that first meeting, they have continued to grow together. They have encouraged, supported, and loved each other, all the way to these steps on which they now stand, surrounded by their loved ones. Kristy and Ben have been blessed with a lifetime of love and support from their families and friends. Let each day be a new chapter of discovery and growth, where you both find strength and unity and delight in the shared journey of your lives. Benjamin Robert Wallner, Kristy May Boggs, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may now kiss.
Kristy, I love how kind you are. And I think a lot of people see kindness and it can be this thing that is seen as juvenile or naive. But you, even being aware of how hard the world can be, and even having so much tragedy that's happened in your life, you have just so much love. And that's a really rare thing. And I think in a world that's gotten a little bit crueler and people gotten a little bit rougher, I think that kindness is something that's always spoken.
Ben, I love how joyful you are. And I love how you make me think about the world in a different way. And I love how intelligent and funny you are. And how you have such a thirst for experiences and for knowledge. I love how you're my best friend and how you make even mundane tasks so much more enjoyable. I love going to the grocery store with you. I love sitting on the couch with you and watching baking shows. I love how you make everything better. And I hope that I can make everything better for you every day.